This year brought incredible discoveries as humanity ventured further into space than ever before. To talk about what's to come in the year ahead, I'm joined by PBS NewsHour science correspondent Miles O'Brien. Miles, thank you so much for joining me. People are looking forward to the attempts to reach the moon next year. What can you tell us about that?
Artemis 3 is tentatively scheduled, and that's a capital T. That's only supposed to be a couple of years away. But and Artemis 3 would be the NASA mission, which would actually put the first woman on the moon. Exciting prospect there. The vehicle, which is going to get the human beings from lunar orbit down to the surface, is a modification of SpaceX's Starship, which, of course, flew twice this past year. And in both cases, while they learned a lot, it was not a complete success. You wouldn't want to put people on them yet. So there might be some delays in getting that moon lander built. We have to watch that one very closely. So that's where the date gets very squishy. There's funding issues always, in addition to the technical issues. But what's different this time, and we have to remember this is not so-called flags and footprints missions as we did in Apollo in the 60s. The idea is to go to the South Pole of the moon and set up a camp, an outpost, and learn about what it's like to operate on another planet for an extended period of time. And hopefully this will inform our ability to one day do something just like that on Mars. It's a lot easier to do it when you're a few days away from Earth as opposed to a good chunk of a year away, which is what it takes for us to get to Mars. There's some interesting prospects out there, and if we could get an encampment set up there, who knows where that leads, but it's going to take a while to get that up and running.
We did ask our viewers what questions they would like to ask you, and we got dozens of them. Several of our viewers wanted to know more about the next steps in imaging extrasolar planets. And for our viewers who don't know, what exactly is an extrasolar planet?
Well, an extrasolar planet is, a planet that revolves around another star. We would call our star the sun, kind of a regular old star. Nothing extraordinary, but we love it. We now have upwards, it's approaching 6,000 exoplanets have been identified, which is extraordinary. I mean, the first one was discovered early 90s. So when we find planets that orbit other stars, what do we think of? We think of, oh, maybe that's a place where if there were a planet in what we call, the habitable zone, where it's just right, kind of Goldilocks right, to allow liquid water. That's kind of our litmus test for life here on Earth. Wherever we find liquid water, we find life here on Earth. And so that's how we kind of decide to look for life beyond our planet. The next big mission for this is called PLATO, Planetary Transits and Oscillation of Stars. It's a European Space Agency mission that'll launch in a couple of years. And the technique which it uses, which is the common technique, the so-called transit technique, these are so sensitive, these devices, that it's kind of like detecting a mosquito walking across a headlight. As the planet goes in front of the star, it dims ever so slightly, and the instrument can determine that there is, in fact, a planet there. Now, there are missions coming along. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, it's due to launch in a few years. It is going to have a kind of a prototype capability of looking directly at these planets and sort of blocking out the star light and able to see the planet itself. That's an exciting prospect. Just look for more of this to come, more detail. And maybe one day we're going to, open up our browser and see a planet that looks a lot like ours, thousands of light years away.
As we look forward to 2024, one thing I'm excited for is the full solar eclipse that's going over my hometown in the Midwest. What else can we look forward to next year?
The eclipse, I believe it's April 8th. Do you have your calendar? I think it's April 8th, 2024.
Yeah, I have my travel plans are booked.
So basically, it starts in Mexico, kind of diagonals across the continental United States and up into Canada. Casey, many years ago, I saw an annular eclipse, and that was fun. And so I thought I had seen eclipses, And then there was an eclipse which did a similar trajectory across the continental United States. And I went to see it. And it was, have you seen one?
No.
Oh my God. It was so amazing. It was just, to suddenly have that darkness, and there was kind of an eeriness to it that is very difficult to describe. It was very ethereal. It was one of those really profound, almost a very spiritual moment where you tend to think about your place in the greater universe, and the fact that we know them and can predict them as we do is a testament to how much we know. And yet the fact that we're just these little pipsqueaks and these huge orbital bodies have such impact on us really affected me in a profound way. So I am looking forward to that too. I don't have plans yet, though. Maybe I can tag along with you. We can do some stuff for the news hour.
Oh, that would be
That'd
amazing.
be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
That's a dream come true, I think.
Let's do that.
Anything else you think in 2024, whether it's SpaceX or other missions out into the universe that our viewers and your space fans can look forward to?
I'm going to be watching Starship very closely. A lot of things hinge around the success of Starship. We don't know when that's going to get propped back up and put back on a launch pad, because that has such impact on the Artemis missions. Ultimately, that's, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, and, Elon Musk comes with his own set of other baggage, but this company is such a tremendous success. And now NASA and those of us who care about space exploration are connected to SpaceX, whether we like it or not. So I'm rooting for Starship to succeed in 2024, and maybe that'll give us some greater insight and clarity onto when we might see a moon mission, and that would be fun.
Mars in 2024?
Not Mars, but that'll be great, wouldn't it? If I hope to live to see it. You're young enough; you'll see it for sure.
Miles O'Brien, thank you so much for joining me.
Such a pleasure, Casey.